For the first DIY fall sign, I'm using this pumpkin that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the metal leaf from the top of the pumpkin, and I'm setting this aside because I will be using it later on. And I'm starting by painting the whole pumpkin with some white Waverly chalk paint, and it took about 3 coats to get it completely covered so that you can't see any of the orange showing through. After I got my pumpkin fully covered with the white paint, I took my distressing brush and used this to dry brush on some light gray paint onto the pumpkin, and I did this while the last coat of white paint was still wet so that the light gray paint kind of blended in with the white paint to give it this nice distressed look. And I tried to make the gray lines in the shape of a pumpkin to give it some more dimension. I'm using this jumbo twine that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to wrap this all the way around my pumpkin. And you're going to want to start on either the far left side at the bottom or the right. So I'm starting by gluing the twine in between the 2 bumps at the bottom. So in that little indentation is where you're going to want to start. So I just applied a little bit of hot glue at a time and then stuck the twine rope in place and went around. And you're going to go around on one side until you reach that next indentation on the pumpkin. Then once you reach this spot, you're going to lay the twine in place and kind of map out where you're going to put the twine so that it's in the shape of the pumpkin. So here I'm just outlining that middle section of the pumpkin to kind of get a gauge as to where I want to apply my hot glue for the middle section. And once you kind of mapped out where you're going to place your twine and have an idea of where to put the glue, you just keep going all the way around. So you're going to make basically 3 sections for the pumpkin. So the left side will be between the 2 indentions, and then the middle section is what I'm doing here. And then for the right side, you're just going to do the same thing you did on the left and go all the way back around. And once you get back down to the bottom here, you're going to cut off the excess twine and then glue the end of it in place. And then I cut a piece of the extra twine to fill in this gap here at the top of the pumpkin. So I just went ahead and placed that right there. And then now my pumpkin is totally outlined. And then I'm going to take some smaller twine and I'm going to wrap this all the way around the pumpkin stem. So I applied a little bit of glue at the front and back of the stem at a time and then wrap the twine around. Try to wrap the twine as tight as possible so that you don't have a bunch of gaps between the rows of twine. And you're just going to keep going around until you reach the tip of the pumpkin stem. And now that I reached the tip of the pumpkin stem, I'm just going to apply some hot glue at the end and finish wrapping this around and then cut off the extra. I'm going to use one of these rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree, and I'm using the one that says Simply Blessed. And I'm going to cut this out and put it on this white tag that I will be putting on my pumpkin. I'm going to reattach this metal leaf that I took off in the beginning of the video, and I'm going to put it at the top of the pumpkin in the middle section. I wanted to add a pop of color to this neutral pumpkin, so I made this bow using some green ribbon, and I'm going to attach this to the top of my pumpkin. I tied a piece of twine around the Simply Blessed wood tag that I made, and I'm going to attach this underneath the bow of the pumpkin to hide that. And now the tag can kind of hang down on the pumpkin and not be attached to it. And here is what the finished fall pumpkin sign looks like. For the second DIY, I'm using this wood truck that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be making a sign using it. And to start, I'm painting the main body of the truck with this Waverly chalk paint in the color moss. I really like this color and I think it's super pretty for fall. And I forgot to fill in the holes for this truck because I will not be hanging it up anymore. It's going to be glued onto a sign. So I used some spackling to quickly fill in the 2 holes at the top of the wood truck, and then I painted over top of this. Next I used my black Waverly chalk paint to paint the outside rim of the tires. And then I painted the inside part of the tires with some light gray paint. And I painted the 2 pumpkins sitting in the back of the truck with my Waverly chalk paint in the color pumpkin. I used my Waverly antiquing wax to go ahead and stain the rest of the parts of the truck that haven't been painted yet, and I also used it to add some distressing to the whole truck as well as the pumpkins. I'm going to use this sign that I got from Dollar Tree to put my truck on that I painted. So to get the sign ready, I'm starting by removing the give thanks part and also the leftover glue. Luckily, it was pretty easy to get this glue off because sometimes it can be really tricky. And then I'm going to paint the whole sign with a couple of coats of white overlay chalk paint. Next, I traced out some horizontal lines all the way across the sign and I spaced them out about 1 inch apart. And now I'm going to take some brown paint and a ruler to guide my lines to make some lines all the way across the sign. And if you're using a ruler, make sure it's one that you either don't care about or one that you can easily wash because it will get paint on it. This was just kind of to help me make more straight lines because I'm not the best at making straight lines. So it didn't really work the best, but better than freehanding it. But it's okay if the lines aren't perfect because it will kind of add to the sign's character. So now I'm going to use my distressing brush to add some brown paint around the edges of the sign to give it some more dimension as well as across the whole center of it to distress it a little bit more. Basically, I'm just making it look like an old weathered sign. And now that the background of my sign is completed, I'm going to glue on the truck. And I'm also going to add on one of these metal signs from Dollar Tree, and I chose to add on the word welcome. So I'm just applying some glue and then I'm going to put it kind of on an angle in the left top corner of the sign. I googled pumpkin patch signs and found this super cute one to add to my truck, so I just went ahead and printed it off small enough so that would fit on the truck, and I'm going to place it on this space here to give it some more detail. And to protect the paper, I'm going to apply some Mod Podge over top of it, and I did 2 coats of this. And you're especially going to want to make sure to do this step if you're placing this sign on your front door because the paper will most likely get ruined when it is exposed to the outdoor weather. And then I also made this cute little bow, and I'm going to put this on the top right corner of my sign to finish it up. And here is a look at the finished fall truck welcome sign. The last DIY fall sign I'm going to show you how to make in this video is using this wood acorn that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start by painting this bottom part of the acorn with some dark brown paint. Now that I have a good base coat of brown paint, I'm going to use a couple of different colors to add some dimension. So I'm starting by using a dark brown and basically just dry brushing this on and kind of acting like I'm distressing it. And then I'm going to go in with a light brown and also this mustard yellow. And I'm going to end with a little bit of white paint. Next, I'm going to paint the acorn stem with some dark brown paint. For the top of the acorn, I'm going to wrap the whole thing with some twine. So I'm just starting here and applying a little bit of glue at a time and working my way up. And now that I'm at the top of the acorn, I'm going to show you how I finished off gluing on the twine. To decorate this acorn sign, I added this cute fall bow that I made to the bottom part of the twine. And then I also added on this happy fall wood saying that I got from Hobby Lobby. I include this to the middle of the acorn to finish it off. Here is the finished Happy Fall acorn sign, and this is the last fall DIY sign for this video, so thanks for watching.